Okay.
Okay.
Everybody tells me I'm a good storyteller because I have a good memory. I mean, it's like, it's almost perfect. And so I get to tell this story from my point of view because I was there. And it goes like this. A long time ago, when Uncle Brian was 15 years old, 15, he took off for the summer and went up to Nebraska to visit relatives up in Nebraska. He visited his grandma, our grandma and grandpa, and he went to other places, and he ended up visiting some cousins. And these cousins, as I remember, took him out. One of the things they did was they took him out to the drag racing. He's 15 years old, and he gets taken to the drag races with cousins, and he's just amazed at what goes on at drag races. You know, these cars, they rev up those engines and go blasting down the track. And it's called drag racing. And so he eventually
They still do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do it on TV now.
On TV. So a few weeks later, he's back home in San Carlos. We were living right over there about half a mile. And Grandpa, our dad, your great-grandpa, had an old blue big square panel truck. And it was used at one time to be a company truck, but now we were using it for carrying people and everything. And our dad said, why don't you boys go out and get a load of firewood? And, you know, winter's coming, and that'll give you something to do. And so, and Brian, you're only 15 years old, but out here on the back roads, you don't need a driver's license. You're okay to drive at age 15. And so he was all excited about that because he was, you know, 15-year-olds are ready to drive, right? And I was about 13 or 12, somewhere in there. And Uncle Mark was there too, and he would have been about 10, yeah, 9, 10 or 10. 9, and who else was in there?
Not cheap.
No, yeah, and then we had a native friend of ours about our age was in there too. So there's 4 of us in this blue box truck. And we get in there with our axe and saws and things to cut firewood. And we get in there and get ready to go, and he says to me, he says, hey, you know how to drag? And I go, what? You know how to drag? And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, I'm going to show you. So we're out in front of the house on the roadway there, and he revs up the engine, and he puts it in low gear and pops that clutch out. The old truck starts going down the road, and pretty soon it's getting to 15 miles an hour. And he shifts gears into second, a little bit faster, up to about 25 miles an hour. Bam! He slams it into third gear, and man, we're going down the road like this. And they had to slow down a little bit and cross the wash, and then turn another corner and go out towards where the wood was that we were going to be stopping. And the road was a dirt road. It's the very same road you came in on, but back in those days it was dirt. There was no pavement. And he's going faster and faster as we go down that road.
I think I made 42.
And he might have got up to 42, yep, miles per hour. And up ahead I could see that the road was going to curve to the right. And then I knew it was going to curve back to the left again. That's what it did back then. And I didn't know what to do. I mean, this guy's older than I am and a lot stronger, and he's just blasting away down the road just with a great big grin on his face. He's having the time of his life. And we go around this, we start around this first curve to the right, and the truck's starting to go like this, and it was kind of not just sticking on the tracks, you know, it was kind of sliding a little bit. And I go, oh no, we're done. I remember saying that. And so he makes it through that curve though, and then up ahead there's a sharper curve to the left. And we go racing into that curve to the left, and the truck's going all the way, it goes all the way sideways and then flops over on its side. Big cloud of dust. And there was a huge cloud of dust on that dirty road. The back doors of the truck flop open, and I saw daylight. There's daylight, and I'm still alive. And I just started running out of the truck, put my head down, and blasted out the back of the truck. And I ran up onto the road. I was just going to run away from this before anything else happened. I didn't know what was going on. I was just a 13-year-old kid. And I think Mark's going to have to tell you what he did. He was in there. He got hurt a little bit.
Oh, a little bit. It seemed like a tool or something hit my head, and I got a little cut on my ear. So, but I got out, and then Brian was kind of feeling bad because he wanted his dad to find out that he was racing. Right. I'll let Brian tell the rest.
No. Your story.
Okay, so you want me to finish it?
It's your story.
So there we are, standing on the road. All the dust kind of went away, and the truck's laying on its side with the doors, back doors flopped open and stuff. And we all checked ourselves, and you know, a few cuts and bruises, but not much. Nobody got really hurt. Now what are we going to do? We're way out there, and the truck's on its side. We heard somebody cutting wood not too far away, and so we walked over there, and it was an Apache fella and his family. They're over there cutting firewood for their house. They had a car there, and so Brian, he said, "Excuse me, sir, but we just had an accident, and I wonder if you could take us back to our home and get our dad." He says, "Oh, okay. You okay? You all right?" "Yeah, we're okay." And so, "All right, I'll take you." So we all piled into his station wagon, as I recall. And this guy, he's really getting shaken up now because he knows what's coming. You know, he's about to go back and face our dad. And he goes, "Please, sir, when we get back to our house, could you tell my dad that I wasn't racing?" And the guy's going, "Okay." Yeah, he's a nice guy. You know, he took us all the way to the house, and we stopped the car, and you know, I guess he told him where to go, and so we got home, and we got out, and he slowly gets out of the station wagon, and we found Dad there somewhere, and he says, "Mr. Bunney, I found your boys out there. They've had an accident," and he wasn't racing. And, you know, there's a little more to the story. Dad, of course, he was pretty upset about that. And we had another vehicle, and he took a great big logging chain out there. And we drove out to where the truck was still laying there on its side and hooked the chain on to the truck somewhere on the frame, and backed up the other truck and backed up until the old blue truck uprighted itself back on its tires.
Bunch more dust again.
With more dust. And then you got in, or he did, or you did, got in there to see if it would start, and it did. And so, sure enough, without racing, drove it home.
And I spent the next month and a half beating out the metal on the side of the truck that got bent.
Oh.
I remember him in there with the back of an axe. You know, the great big long axe. On one end it's sharp, on the other end it's blunt. He's inside the truck going, wham! Wham! Bam! And it went on for a long time.
A couple of months.
Yeah.
That was good, strong metal back then.
Yeah. Trying to beat the shape of the truck
back to normal.
To make it sort of square like it was. And it never did get smoothed out and painted, as far as I recall. Well, maybe painted on the outside with a brush or something like that.
So remember, it's your story.
That's about the end of my story. So.
Hooray!
Yay! Clap, clap, clap.
That's,
good story, Uncle Loren.
That was a true story.
Can you tell us another one?
I think it's time for us to get moving, honey.
Thank you, Loren.